The importance of jazz education is solely for the knowledge to be passed on, the knowledge to be passed on from generation to generation, truthfully, about what jazz really is. Jazz is really a potpourri of the American culture. When I was coming up, I was mentored by some of the jazz greats, jazz musicians in particular, to find young people that was very interested in playing the music. They took us under their wings and showed us the ropes. And that really was our education, because when I started playing jazz, there were very few schools that really offered jazz curriculum. So you had to go to school to study classical music, music education, or classical performance. So the real training was on the bandstand and being mentored by jazz greats. That has since changed. Yes, I'm very much involved in education because based on the teachings that I got, I feel like it is my duty to pass that similar type of education on to the masses. The joy of people experiencing the true American art form, the joy of knowing that I'm giving something back, something that I was given. You know, jazz is a gift. So what I get out of it is that, you know, after doing this for so many years now, there's no greater joy than running across someone that says, I met you years ago and you influenced me to do blah, 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 or I met you years ago and you inspired me to continue playing, or blah, blah. You know, those are the reasons for giving. Students today do a little less research, even though there's more tools of research. Because they zero right in on whatever they're seeking, and they don't go through the steps, the links, the lineage of what is going on. For example, if a student wants to study a particular artist, he can zero right in on that artist and miss all of the influences and the progressions that made that particular artist. So in some ways, it's sort of a shortcut approach to learning. Only the really sure at heart really do total research now. With the advent of being able to download particular songs, a lot of times you don't get the total concept of an album package. So you don't get the total inspiration of total story. You're just getting chapters sometimes. That's the difference. Right now, I've been just working on a balancing act of teaching, performing, and writing. I'm doing less production now. The production is only in the projects that I'm involved in. I'm not doing a lot of other acts now as I did like in the 80s and 90s. So now it's really about me keeping my voice active, but keeping my voice contemporary as well. And that comes in many forms. You know, most people know me solely as a drummer. I'm a composer. I'm a percussionist. I play mallet instruments. I play percussion instruments. And lately I've been putting more of those things out into the forefront as a player. As an educator, I'm trying to bridge the overall scope of music, not just genre specific, because jazz, as in other forms of American music, are influenced by all the American musics and the world musics. So as I'm avidly advocating jazz, I'm advocating music. Miles Davis was the leader. He was the pioneer of that whole fusion era. I hate to use that term, fusion era. I like the way you put it, the 70s, because that was the unpaved new frontier of the new music, which sprouted a number of various jazz genres and other genres from it. Miles Davis pioneered a lot of the trends, a lot of the things that started to happen in the late 60s that propelled into the 70s. So Miles Davis for me was the pioneer. Less words, do what you do. That was really the mantra of that era. Be creative, but be creative with no holds barred. Forget the purest tradition, and whatever you absorb in your system, as a player, share that with the audiences. So he didn't say a lot. He just allowed us room to create on the spot. The thing about that era that a lot of people miss is the freedom and the avant-gardeness of jazz was so much an integral part of that era, where you spontaneously created on the spot. And that was the essence of what made that, while pushing the envelope of new sounds, new instruments, new technology. We basically kind of ran through things and conceptualized, because weather report pieces were like individual portraits. So each portrait had its own set of colors, set of brushes, set of style. So with Weather Report, it was individual portraits. My greatest joy is having people enjoy what I do and show an appreciation for it. My greatest challenge is trying to remain contemporary and finding new things with the freedom of retaining who I am.